Welcome back to the show. We're now joined by Charles Tarbey from Century 21. He's in our Adelaide studio. Charles, great to have you on board. Look, what is happening? What's the latest with the clearance numbers?
Oh, it's actually pretty steady, and good to see that we're still sitting in the 70s, which is where we felt it would sit, James, because the marketplace, as I heard Tom saying earlier, there's no boom. There are certain areas that are exploding a little because of shortage of stock, but at the end of the day, the clearance rates this week hit 70.3, so it's been in the 70s for a little while. There's a star performer in there again, although Sydney hit 75 and Melbourne hit 70.8. The star performer this week again is Adelaide at 71.2%. So and here I am in the wonderful city of the churches, and they've had a very, very good run for the last few weeks in auction clearance.
What about rentals, rental rates?
Look, all sorts of things are changing. It's all affected and impacted by the stock levels as well, and I know they'll put up a chart for that. There's a chart that shows that the properties that are coming on the market. Tom also talked about, massive amounts coming on. There are some coming on in certain areas. Some areas are getting more than they should, and they might be in mining areas. But most of the nation's capitals hit 2.51% in terms of growth. So we had about now 5 weeks of growth in stock, which is going to impact on those price movements and coming back into the rental side, which you were referring to. Yes,
we're just seeing the graphic there in terms of homes advertised for sales. Rent price moves, I mean, what are you seeing there?
This is something that we've been watching very closely and finding quite interesting. Sydney has been stable. It's been sitting in the 12s, for quite a number of weeks, and Melbourne in the 7.1, in fact, this week just gone in its increases. But Perth, 18.12. Now, Perth, we've talked about that flatlining, and it's been sitting on the 18s for a while, and this week it's come back slightly. So now we're starting to see a movement of first home buyers perhaps moving out and properties becoming vacant. So that'll show up in the next chart. But overall, we've had a growth rate of 12.59% in rental increases across those three capital cities since I've been keeping the charts going.
Goodness. And look, you just mentioned vacancies. What about residential vacancy rates?
Well, Sydney's good. Sydney's 2.14, lower the better for landlords, of course. Melbourne, it hit 3.1% in clearance. In vacancy rates. But the big one is Perth again, and that's that impact we're talking about. The rents are flattening. The vacancy rates hit 5.65% in Perth, which is really high, and that's been climbing, and that's something that we really have brought to people's attention on this show. So, but across the country it was 3.43% when you consolidate those particular percentages. But Perth is one to watch. There could be a little bit of movement there because rents might come down because that vacancy rate's climbing.
Charles Tarbey, fantastic to talk. Thanks very much.
Thanks, James.
Charles Tarbey from Century 21, I should say, there in our Adelaide studio. Just enough time